Good afternoon, namaste. जानकी पौडेल म एउटा प्र्याक्टिसिङ काउन्सिलर पनि हुँ र आज चाहिँ मैले यहाँहरूलाई माइन्डफुलनेस इन काउन्सिलिङ काउन्सिलिङ परामर्श सचेतनात्मक यो एउटा सर्भिसमा माइन्डफुलनेस यो कस्तो भूमिका खेल्छ अथवा यो दुईटा माइन्डफुलनेस एन्ड यो काउन्सिलिङको चाहिँ अन्तर सम्बन्ध कस्तो छ भन्ने विषयमा चाहिँ थोरै थ्योरिटिकल पार्टहरु र यसलाई कसरी चाहिँ अन्तर सम्बन्ध इस्टाब्लिश गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने एउटा चाहिँ एउटा यो प्रोसेसमा चाहिँ थोरै थ्योरिटिकल पार्ट र प्र्याक्टिकल नलेजहरु चाहिँ मैले थोरै लिएर आएको छु यहाँहरुको जानकारीको लागि म यहाँहरुलाई के रिक्वेस्ट गर्न चाहन्छु भने मसँग फेसबुक लाइभमा भइदिनु होला किनभने मेरो यो जुममा चाहिँ कन्ट्रोलिङ रुममा चाहिँ अहिले समन इज मिसिङ त्यसैले गर्दा तपाईहरुलाई मैले एडमिट गर्न नपाउन सक्छु त्यसको लागि म एपोलोजी माग्दै तपाई चाहिँ फेसबुकमा चाहिँ इन्जोय गर्नु होला र अब यसमा चाहिँ इफ any audience or viewer from from English language, my presentation is in English. However, I will repeat. I will try my best to explain it in Nepalese as well, Nepalese language as well, Nepali language as well, so that all my Nepalese fellow can also enjoy this presentation. Thank you very much. And thanks for being with me. Well, in this presentation, there are pretty much three sections, three parts. I will try to make so shorter as I can. In part one, the part one contains about like some sort of steps which explain the body movement, including the introduction of the counseling and mindfulness and their interrelationship in terms of to gain the well-being and the better in the body and mind. Second part in part two there is some sort of like sequence or steps to feel the inner movement, to feel the breathing in order to gain the mindfulness and peacefulness. The part C is a mindfulness practice. Basically depends upon a tale or a story or some sort of narration. Based on that narration, the participant has to follow with the narration and try to practice it. So if I have a time, I will go through it. Otherwise, I will basically bring that practice in next session, or you can also contact me and to join with me by contacting booking the session personally as well. So today's session it is already in live from my Facebook, and it is completely free of cost information. Thank you so much. Counseling. What is counseling? Let me just make it a little bit bigger. Well, what is counseling? Counseling kya hota? Counseling is a scientific process of assisting people in assisting people to identify their problems and needs and provide a continuous support to reach their goals. Alternatively, the other way we can also define or explain the counseling is a kind of therapy which helps to heal the stress and painfulness and assist client to gain their wellness and better life. यो काउन्सेलिङ परामर्शमा चाहिँ खास यसले के भन्न खोजेको छ भनेदेखि यो चाहिँ एउटा यस्तो वैज्ञानिक तरिका हो जसले चाहिँ मानिसहरूको समस्या आवश्यकतालाई चाहिँ यथार्थ रूपमा पहिचान गरी उनीहरूको लक्ष्यमा पुग्नको लागि लक्ष्य सेट गरी त्यो लक्ष्यमा पुग्नको लागि कन्टिन्युस यसले चाहिँ सपोर्ट गर्ने गर्दछ र यस्तो खालको चाहिँ लक्ष्यमा पुग्नको लागि इस्यु आइडेन्टिफाई गरेर प्रब्लमहरु आइडेन्टिफाई गरेर उनीहरूको निड्सहरु आइडेन्टिफाई गरेर कन्टिन्युस त्यो लक्ष्यमा पुग्नलाई चाहिँ कन्टिन्युस सपोर्ट गर्ने एउटा चाहिँ यो साइन्टिफिक तरिकाबाट सपोर्ट गर्ने एउटा विधिलाई चाहिँ यसलाई चाहिँ काउन्सेलिङ भनेर भन्न सकिन्छ। त्यसैले चाहिँ यसमा के पनि समावेश गरिएको छ भने काउन्सेलिङमा कन्टिन्युस सपोर्टको एउटा सिचुएसनमा चाहिँ क्लाइन्टलाई विभिन्न किसिमको अवस्थाहरु हुन सक्छ। अल पीपल आर नट सेम एन्ड सिमिलर, दे मे हैव डिफरेंट पीपल मे हैव डिफरेंट इश्यूज एन्ड द सिचुएशंस, so that I am trying to bring mindfulness as a part of the counseling, how they work together This is just one one example. There are so many other theories and practices which can cooperate, which can work with the counseling, which can fit with the counseling process, or counseling and those therapies can work together in order to help the clients throughout their sessions, or the sessions they require, and or session they continue. Here and the mindfulness is just one, as I already told you in a very clear way. र यसमा काउन्सिलिङ will give a same result bringing client at the present. So यसमा चाहिँ कस्तो छ भने यो के भन्न खोजेको भने काउन्सिलिङमा चाहिँ अब यसले चाहिँ कुनै पनि क्लाइन्टको सिचुएसनहरुलाई आइडेन्टिफाई गरेर इश्यूज र नीड्सलाई आइडेन्टिफाई गरेर कन्टिन्युअस हेल्प गर्छ भन्ने बित्तिकै the situation and needs should be at present, the present situation and present needs. The counselor should focus in the present situation and present needs in order to help the client. Mindfulness, what mindfulness is mean? Mindfulness is being at present. Mindfulness आफै पनि जो व्यक्ति एउटा चाहिँ प्रेजेन्ट सिचुएसनमा वर्तमान अवस्थामा चाहिँ रहन सक्छ, आउन सक्छ, रहनु आउनुलाई नै माइन्डफुलनेस भन्ने कारणले गर्दा यो काउन्सेलिङको र माइन्डफुलनेसको चाहिँ एकदमै अन्तर सम्बन्ध रहेको चाहिँ मैले चाहिँ यहाँनेरि हजुरहरुलाई चाहिँ बताउन चाहे. माइन्डफुलनेस इज अ प्र्याक्टिस टु बी एट प्रेजेन्ट by controlling mind, traveling towards past and future. हाम्रो माइन्ड पनि मानिसको शरीर मुभेबल भए जस्तै शरीर भन्दा अझ बढी माइन्ड चाहिँ एकदमै मुभेबल छ, मोबिलाइज हुन्छ. यो चाहिँ अराउन्ड द वर्ल्ड ग्लोबलमा चाहिँ घुमिरहेको हुन्छ, किनभने त्यो माइन्डमा चाहिँ वर्तमानलाई पनि लिएर घुमेको हुन्छ, पास्टका कुरालाई लिएर घुमेको हुन्छ, फ्युचरका ड्रिम्सहरूलाई लिएर घुमेको हुन्छ. यसरी घुमिरहेको माइन्डलाई चाहिँ समेटेर चाहिँ प्रेजेन्ट सिचुएसनमा लिएर आउनु चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ माइन्डफुलनेस हो. The mindfulness explore the body's energy internally and externally and bring the attention towards the present with the power of lights of rays in form of positive energy. Yeah, in form it is the necessity. The positive energy मा आउनु भनेको चाहिँ एउटा नेसेसिटी हो. यद्यपि त्यहाँ एनर्जीको कुरा गर्दै जाँदा we will explain there will be different kind of energy around our body and internally and externally as well, and we need to practice to grab all those positive energies in order to feel the better in our body and mind together. अब यहाँनेरि चाहिँ अलिकता यसमा चाहिँ यो अगाडि नै mindfulness is a useful therapy in counseling in which a simple flow of narration can help people to observe and feel both positive and negative rays. मैले अगाडि भनिसकेँ यो पोजिटिभ एन्ड नेगेटिभ रेजहरु हुन सक्छन् र मानिसले चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ यो प्रोसेसमा चाहिँ दुईटै फिल गर्छन् भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ मैले यहाँ तपाईहरुलाई चाहिँ राखेको छु. अब यहाँनेरि अलिकता यो एउटा चाहिँ बेस्ट टेक्निकहरु मैले लेखेको छु. let me go to the slide. Slide 4 is very interesting slide, as I already told you. It's mindfulness in energy. I'm trying to bring a concept of energy, different kinds of energy in mindfulness practice. So I have postulated the thoughts myself to implement a the greatest equation, powerful equation developed by Albert Einstein, who is a physicist. उनले चाहिँ फिजिकल थ्योरीमा चाहिँ मास मुभमेन्टको कन्सेप्टलाई लिएर he postulated a powerful equation E equal to m into c square, where E stand for energy, m stand for mass, and c stand for speed of light. Speed of light. र उनले चाहिँ के भनेका छन् भने according to Albert Einstein, in physical perspective, if there is a force in a mass, it produces various kinds of lights, the rays of lights, and it speed, the force determine the speed of the lights. And end of the day, once the force determines the speed of light, it produces the kinetic energy, and which basically the help the mass to move from one place to another place. So यो चाहिँ यथार्थ हो. जब हामीले चाहिँ यो एउटा चाहिँ वस्तु चाहिँ मेरो हातमा छ, मैले अध्ययन उठाएर ल्याइसके तपाईलाई देखाउनको लागि मात्रै मैले यहाँ राखेको छु. अब यो वस्तु यो मेरो यो हातमा भएको प्याडलाई मैले यहाँ यो तल मेरो फिंगरको टिप्समा यसरी पुर्याउनको लागि I have to push it, I have to apply the force. When I apply the force in this mass, there are some rays of lights. The speed of lights are traveling around, and it depends upon the force how I apply. If I push hardly, harshly, forcefully, it may fall down. If I push slowly, it will slowly reach at the tip of the finger. However, the principle is when I apply the force, it produces some sort of like, the lights. The force determine the movements of the lights. And it's a physical equation, we can calculate it as well. So I'm not coming through the, the calculating point of view. I'm coming through when we apply some, the force in a mass, it produces sort of energy. That is kinetic energy. And that kinetic energy basically help to move the mass or any object from one place to another place, right? This is exactly the same principle developed by Albert Einstein in physical theory. So it is very powerful equation, and it applies in the physics, in mathematics, and it is applying. It is already existing formula. However, what I am trying to bring here in the mindfulness is the implication of E equal to mc square in form of, let's say example, E equal to energy, that's fine. M mass, we can say the mass multiplied by cosine equation, consequences, that one implication. The another implication is if we use our body as a mass. For example, if our body is a mass, our mind is as a mass, then when we try to push ourselves internally or externally, there will be like different kind of lights, okay? And that lights speed up, accelerate based on the force we apply there, and it produces kinetic energy. गतिशील इनर्जीले चाहिँ उत्पादन गर्छ र त्यो गतिशील इनर्जीले चाहिँ हाम्रो शरीरलाई, यदि हामी शरीर चलाउन खोजेका छौं भने शरीरलाई एज लङ अल टुगेदर विथ माइन्ड यसले पुश गर्छ। यदि माइन्डलाई मात्रै हामीले चलाइराख्न खोजेका छौं भने पनि इट वर्क्स एक्ज्याक्टली द सेम वे। यु क्यान प्र्याक्टिस योरसेल्फ। सो यहाँनेरि चाहिँ यसो भनेर मैले चाहिँ यो यहाँनेरि अल्बर्ट आइन्स्टाइनले डेभलप गरेको यो चाहिँ ग्रेटेस्ट फिजिकल इक्वेसनलाई चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ माइन्डफुलनेसमा चाहिँ रेज अफ लाइट, स्पिड अफ लाइटलाई चाहिँ कस्ता खालका लाइटहरू हामीले प्रोड्युस गर्न चाहनु पर्ने हो र कुन किसिमले हामीले फोर्स त्यहाँ लगाउनु पर्ने हो र त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ उत्पादन भएको चाहिँ जुन एउटा काइनेटिक इनर्जी हुन्छ, गतिशील इनर्जी हुन्छ, त्यो इनर्जी चाहिँ कस्तो खालको रेज अफ लाइटलाई हामीले अब्जर्भ गर्दा, हामीले कन्ज्युम गर्दा, हामीले प्रोड्युस गर्दा हामीलाई चाहिँ कस्तो खालको चाहिँ इनर्जी उत्पन्न हुन्छ, काइनेटिक इनर्जी उत्पन्न हुन्छ र त्यसले गर्दा हाम्रो बडी र माइन्ड चाहिँ मुभेबल हुन्छ, एक्टिभ हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ यसले चाहिँ एक्सपिरियन्स गर्नको लागि चाहिँ यो एउटा चाहिँ मैले चाहिँ इम्प्लिकेसन आफूले चाहिँ एज्युम गरेको इम्प्लिकेसन हो। आई एम नट 100% राइट, बट आई ट्राई टु इम्प्लिमेन्ट द theoretical physical equation E equal to mc square in mindfulness, which from my mind it works, it matches, it implement, we can apply it. So you can also enjoy what I'm saying. र यहाँ चाहिँ कसरी चाहिँ भन्नु खोजेको भन्दा जस्तै यो इक्वेसनमा हेर्नुस् है, यम बडी विथ माइन्ड, हाम्रो शरीरमा माइन्ड पनि छ, बडी पनि छ, यी इनर्जी हामीलाई चाहिन्छ नै। सी कज कन्सिक्वेन्सेस, जसलाई चाहिँ कज र कन्सिक्वेन्सेस भनेको चाहिँ स्पिड अफ लाइट नै हो। त्यसमा चाहिँ कुनै पनि त्यसको धुन्दान डेफिनेसन चाहिँ फिजिकल इक्वेसनमा पनि छैन, हामीले त्यो देख्दा पनि देखिँदैन। हामीले चाहिँ बडी मास हामीले देख्छौँ, इनर्जी हामीले देख्दैनौँ र त्यहाँ चाहिँ स्पिड अफ लाइट पनि हामीले देख्दैनौँ। यो चाहिँ इन्टेन्जिबल एलिमेन्ट्सहरू हो। इभन अल्बर्ट आइन्स्टाइन्सको इक्वेसनमा पनि दे आर द इनर्जी E and C, speed of lights are intangible. We can't see, we can't feel, we can't touch. एउटा बडी मास अर्थात कुनै पनि अब्जेक्ट मात्रै we can see, we can feel, we can touch। त्यसैले गर्दा exactly when we assume C equal to cause and consequences equal to speed of light in different colorful rays, then exactly we can implement the Albert Einstein's greatest, the equation, mathematical equation in the mindfulness system. We have in this picture you can see it's a very simple drawing, mind and body, and there are different kinds of rays moving around inside and outside. Because when we want to think something, like there will be speed of light. Remember that you sitting in one place, you are not moving. We sitting in one place, we are not moving, but we are thinking internally. Okay, when we think something, our mind is working. When our mind is working, how is it working? Because we think means in our body energy is produced. Different rays of lights are moving around in our mind. It gives the sensation. You may not understand what I'm saying now. If you feel some strange news, you feel strange. If sorrowful news, you start crying. If happy news, you become happy. Exactly. So that's the cause and consequences. Cause and effect are two best elements of science as well. If there is no cause and effect, there is no science. This is what we study even in the grade 5 and grade 6. So there is a cause and consequences in our thinking, and then we develop from our thinking, we develop the speed of light. We force, how much force we apply. It is not the quantitative one, the qualitative. I'm talking here in the qualitative way. If we think like good way, it produces good or useful, like the rays which produce the kinetic energy that drive our mind. And then if we give a unnecessary force or negative force, then what happened? Negative kind of the rays will take place. Negative kind of the urja will take place. The force will take the rays will grow at the same time, and then it produce negative kind of energy, and that lead us in negative way. So it's a very simple to understand. I will explain again and again. If you are interested, we can have a sit and talk, or we can talk in telephone as well. So this is how I try to implement the mass, energy, and speed of lights in form of cause and consequences. When I try to apply the Albert Einstein's physical greatest equation into mindfulness practice, it works for me. So I hope you also understand a little bit way, and then it will help you to understand or to think in the what type of the rays we have to produce in our body, what type of rays we have to produce in our mind, what type of rays are moving in our surrounding externally and internally. It is very important to identify the rays of light, and we apply the force, necessary force. It's not about physical force and the rules and regulation. It's about the feelings, observations around in our surrounding, internally and externally, and we apply the force to observe it if they are useful, to ignore it if they are harmful. So it is very important to understand the rays moving internally and the outside, in out surrounding. Now, if you simply understand, this is just a kind of summary slides. When there is a force taken place in a mass with the speed of light, it produces kinetic energy, which makes an object or a mass to move physically, which I already explained before. It is not necessary to explain. This is exactly the definition of Albert Einstein's C equal to mc square. At the same time, if causes and consequences are assumed at the speed of light in colorful rays, which circulate around, which wave or which move around us internally and externally with a low to high force. Without forces, the mass cannot move from one place to another. Okay, so if our mind is mass, we cannot force, we can apply any force, it will not move, it will be just quiet and silent. Okay, kind of dead as well. So there should be some force. A body, of course, is a mass. It is necessary to apply the force. The things we need to understand is, when applying the force, we don't see the rays, we don't see the lights. So we have to observe it, we have to feel it. What type of rays and lights are moving, are waving in our mind and body, internally and externally. So this is what the meaning of the applications of Albert Einstein's, E equal to mc squared formula in mindfulness. And now, so if you understand here, if they move and wave internally and externally, they result the kinetic energy in our body and mind, internally and externally, to move us in, to make us enable to, or to make us enable or unable to function. Right. There is a gist. So it is important to identify the rays of light, speed of lights moving around, waving around us, internally or externally. It is important to identify first. It is important to focus on that point. And then once identify, we have to pick up, we have to choose, or we have to give the necessary force in the right one, in the good light one, with the necessary one, in order to move us, in order to function us in the right way, the correct way. And this is absolutely this is absolutely a mindfulness, because in future we can't do it. In past, it's already past. We can do only this thing, we can only implement this thing at present, and mindfulness is being at present. So exactly it is matching. Now the result in case of result slide, this is just summary slides, like memories, thoughts, feelings, expression of good, positive things, action. These are sort of like when we talk about, like, the thoughts and minds, thoughts in the mind, force apply in the waves, in form of wave of lights of rays. Again, that equal to means that exploration of production of positive energy in form of kinetic energy. So it's exactly the same thing. If we think a good way, if we have positive thoughts, good expression, the good action, and then when force apply on that one, what's going to happen? It explores the positivity, or it gives the production of positive energy. And that positive energy is a kinetic energy, is a form of kinetic energy, which make us, which lead the people, to function their mind in a positive way and positive direction. And vice versa. Means if there are bad rays of light, bad consequences, negative aspects, so it results in the negative way. This is what the meaning of the application, of the Albert Einstein's greatest equations, E equal to mc square, in mindfulness practice. So I hope I explained what I wanted to bring this thing publicly, because I thought it matches. E equal to mc square will be applied only in present situations. So mindfulness is also being at present. So that's why even in a straightforward, they are matching, and even in the formula, it is matching. Only mass, we can see the mass, we cannot see the energy, we cannot see the speed of light. In the mindfulness, when we apply that equation in the mindfulness, we can see the object. We are as an object. We human beings are as an object. We can assume our mind as an object. We can assume our hand or body as an object. Or we can assume what we do, we take action as an object. And that, taking action to the object can be done only at present situation, which is a mindfulness. Mindfulness basically try to bring the people at present situation, to feel, to observe, to do the action, and to get the result as well. So thank you so much. I think I repeatedly explained this thing because I was very interested to bring these things in public since long. So it is not well prepared yet, but these are just the bullet points and like a sort of very simple the PowerPoint which we can illustrate furthermore in coming days if necessary. Let me go to the conclusion of the part 1. Which slide is this? In conclusion, these are just like I explained a lot, but let me just go through the conclusion. If anyone is watching this presentation in live and you don't understand Nepali, you can please read the PowerPoint in the bullet points in the PowerPoint. So in general, the paramarsa and mindfulness, counseling and mindfulness चाहिँ एकअर्कामा जोडिएका हुन्छन् र माइन्डफुलनेस भनेको चाहिँ वर्तमान चाहिँ आफू वर्तमानमा हुनु र वर्तमानमा आफूले आफ्नो हेरचाह गर्नु हो। माइन्डफुलनेस र परामर्शका प्रक्रियाहरूमा चाहिँ प्रकाशका किरणहरू हाम्रो वरिपरि आन्तरिक र बाह्य रूपमा घुमिरहेका हुन्छन् र काउन्सेलिङमा यस्ता खालका आफ्नो आन्तरिक रूपमा र बाह्य रूपमा वरपर घुमिरहेका रेजहरू, स्पिड अफ लाइटहरू, नेगेटिभिटी, पोजिटिभिटी, वाट एभर गोइङ थ्रु त्यो चाहिँ काउन्सेलिङ प्रोसेसले चाहिँ it helps to identify, it helps to explore those things in the clients. त्यसैले काउन्सेलिङ चाहिँ त्यो छ भने it is important to explore, to identify those kind of rays, vibes, waves, positivity, negativity, speed of light, those kind of the elements are very elements, those elements play significant role in everyone's life, and it is important to understand and to identify, to explore. Then that helps the client particularly to lead into the right way. So counseling ले चाहिँ त्यो गर्छ हैन र माइन्डफुलनेस भनेको चाहिँ त्यसरी आइडेन्टिफाई गर्नु भनेको नै क्लाइन्टलाई चाहिँ एकदमै यो चाहिँ प्रेजेन्ट सिचुएसनमा चाहिँ लिएर आउनु र उनलाई चाहिँ यो आफ्नो सिचुएसनबाट चाहिँ अब डिफिकल्ट सिचुएसनबाट ओभरकम भएर स्लोली एन्ड ग्रेजुअली त्यहाँबाट ओभरकम भएर प्रेजेन्ट सिचुएसनै रहेर त्यो चाहिँ पास्ट र फ्युचरका समस्याहरूले गरेका जुन एउटा चाहिँ पेनफुल सिचुएसनहरू छ त्यसलाई चाहिँ त्यहाँबाट रिकभर हुनलाई चाहिँ यसले चाहिँ हेल्प गर्न विभिन्न प्र्याक्टिसहरू हुन्छ। दिस इज वाट द माइन्डफुलनेस इज। त्यसैले मैले चाहिँ यो दुईटा काउन्सेलिङ एन्ड माइन्डफुलनेस चाहिँ एकदम अन्योन्याश्रित सम्बन्ध मैले देखेको। दे आर इन्टरकनेक्टेड एन्ड इन्टररिलेटेड। र अब सकारात्मक महसुस गर्न र आनन्द प्राप्त गर्न प्रभावकारी सकारात्मक किरणहरू छनौट गर्न पनि यसले चाहिँ हेल्प गर्न सक्दछ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ यहाँ चाहिँ समरीमा राखिएको छ। र यो प्रकाशको किरण भन्नाले तपाईहरुले के चाहिँ बुझ्नु भएन, के चाहिँ मिसअन्डरस्ट्यान्ड गर्नु भएन भने त्यो उज्यालो भनेर प्रकाशको किरण भन्न यहाँ खोजिएको हैन। त्यो ऊर्जा, त्यो शक्ति, त्यो चाहिँ एकदमै अनन्त छ, त्यो नदेखिने खालको छ। त्यो चाहिँ फिल मात्रै गर्न सकिन्छ, त्यो चाहिँ अनुभव गर्न सकिन्छ। आफूले चाहिँ त्यहाँ चाहिँ यो चाहिँ आफ्नो शरीर, आफूले आफ्नो हरेक शरीरमा चाहिँ आफूले श्वास फेरिरहँदाखेरि हरेक अंग प्रत्यङ्गलाई चाहिँ आफ्नो मनले चाहिँ त्यो शरीरलाई छुन सकिन्छ र त्यो शरीर भित्रै पनि कहाँ के भइरहेको छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ त्यसले पत्ता लगाउन सक्छ। त्यसलाई नै त्यो रेज अफ लाइट्सलाई चाहिँ कस्तो खालको तरिकाले घुमिरहेको छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ when you sit in the mindfulness practice and you will understand it। यो कुरा चाहिँ यहाँ चाहिँ ल्याउन खोजिएको र एउटा अँध्यारोमा बसेर पनि मान्छेले चाहिँ माइन्डफुलनेस चाहिँ प्राप्त गर्न सक्छ। आँखा चिम्लेर पनि मान्छेले माइन्डफुलनेस प्राप्त गर्न सक्ने हुनाले रेज अफ लाइट अथवा स्पिड अफ लाइट भन्नुको अर्थ it doesn't mean that it is a light like it is not the sunlight. I am not talking about sunlight, okay? Rays of light or speed of light is not a sunlight. It's a kind of energy, you know, the waves, the movement, the sensation, the reflection, the enthusiasm, breathing. So those things brings life. And if we give a priority, like, you know, it explodes. And what type of priority we give, where? इट इज भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड कुनलाई चाहिँ कहाँ प्रायोरिटी दिने कस्तोमा प्रायोरिटी दिने भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ के भइरहेको छ भन्न जान्न आवश्यक छ नम्बर 1 र कुनमा प्रायोरिटी दिने भन्ने कुरा पनि बुझ्न चाहिँ जरुरी छ र यो कुरा चाहिँ दुवै काउन्सिलरले र काउन्सेलिङ एन्ड माइन्डफुलनेस प्र्याक्टिसमा चाहिँ यसले चाहिँ हेल्प गर्न सक्छ भन्ने कुरा मैले यहाँलाई थ्योरिटिकली बताएँ अब म चाहिँ सेकेन्ड पार्टमा म बिस्तारै जान चाहन्छु सेकेन्ड पार्टमा चाहिँ अब यसको त लामो छ तर मैले एकदमै पावर पोइन्टमा चाहिँ छोटो तरिकाले मैले तयार गरेको कुराहरू बताउनु मात्रै पर्ने भयो नत्र भने त म आफूले यहाँ थोरै प्र्याक्टिस पनि देखाउने पनि मेरो प्लानमा थियो तर प्र्याक्टिस देखाउन चाहिँ आज सम्भव होला जस्तो चाहिँ मैले मान्दिनँ त्यसले काउन्सेलिङ इन माइन्डफुलनेसको पार्ट बी चाहिँ अर्को भिडियोमा हेर्नु होला यु स्टे सेफ एन्ड प्लिज वाच नेक्स्ट भिडियो फर काउन्सेलिङ एन्ड माइन्डफुलनेस थ्याङ्क यू भेरी मच